Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you happen to be watching this video, it was meant to find you. Hit the like button, leave me a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. This is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. Right. Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you, and there is the Hierophant card. That is some wonderful energy. Major Arcana. Let's put that into some context before we get too into those details. All right, we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. And I should say that if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments. All right, finishing up here. Path of the Serpent. Good energy. Let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and we're going to use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck for that. Quick shuffle, and one card off to the side by Mr. Frog. And hopefully that will tie the reading together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay. Now let's look around here. We've got some air, some fire, some earth, major arcana. Major arcana. We've got some fire, a little bit more air. The one thing that is lacking is the water element. So right away that tells me that there may be too much of this active energy, too much of this, well, the fire and the air, right? That's kind of pushing out the water, and it's kind of pushing down the earth a little bit too. We'll see how that might develop. So it seems to me that there is maybe the need to reconnect with our emotions, reconnect with how we feel about things, okay? In a lot of readings that we've had for you, Sagittarius, we've had a lot of fire energy. We've had a lot of very concentrated fire energy. We've had a lot of commitment, a lot of energy and ambition toward a purpose, okay? And I feel like that's what this is all about, this Hierophant energy. I feel like you're in a position now, or you're in a frame of mind perhaps, where you are really, you're really looked at as a wise person. I don't know how else to say that. People look to you for answers. People look to you for your wisdom, your insight, your ability to kind of teach, instruct, and to share information, experience. You may be literally a teacher or an instructor of something, maybe school or university, maybe some kind of a meditation class, some kind of a workshop, something, okay? But maybe not. It could be something a little bit more subtle where you just find that, I think if you were to look at your life, that you're passing down a lot of information to others, right? And maybe to children, grandchildren, maybe to coworkers, maybe friends or other family members. But I feel like you're the one that people really look at as this kind of, this wise person that has a lot of insight, a lot of information, a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, right, to impart on others. So you're kind of a leader in that way. You're kind of you're a bit of a guide, I think, in some way. And I'd like you to pause and kind of think about the ways in your life in which you are like a teacher, an instructor, a guide, a passer on of wisdom and experience, right? For example, I feel that way sometimes with my daughter. I feel that I'm, part of my responsibility as a father is to teach her, but more often than not, she's teaching me. But I think that's also a very key part of this, right? Because the more we try to kind of share our knowledge, our experience, our wisdom, whatever you want to call it, whatever form it's taking, the more we may discover that there's a lot more that we still need to learn, right? So I'm wondering if there's a little bit, and that could be with the lack of water here, if there's a little bit of this like imposter kind of syndrome going on. We feel this fire energy, and I think usually we're right in that fire. We have that confidence, that assertiveness. We have that leadership ability. We have the trust and faith in ourselves. But it may be that we're kind of trying to compensate for this lack of, the lack of water. Okay? It could be this idea that, maybe we're in some small way, we've got that mindset of, fake it till you make it, or a little bit of that imposter thing. And it's something that we don't want to focus on. That's why there's no water here. We're focused on the air and the fire, the activity, the outward movement of this energy, this life, this path that you're on. Okay? And I don't recall from the last readings what type of work you do, if it is something, I'm sure for different people it's going to be different things, but I feel like there's at least a subtle vibe of teaching or instructing or guiding. Okay. And really what I think is going on here, especially we have this 2 of swords at the top, we have a 2 of discs at the bottom of the path of the dove. We also have the 2 of wands over here in the path of the serpent, so a lot of 2 energy. This idea that we need to learn and grow and take into ourselves, right, through those passive elements, the earth and some earth, and through that water element, as much as we need to share and give out and provide and guide others. So I think a lot of what is going on right now with you is this need to, yes, be confident and outgoing, trust in yourself and your abilities, right? You know what you're doing. You have the wisdom and the experience to do this, to be the leader in this, to be the guide. But it also would only benefit you to try to learn as much as you can in the process. I think I've said this before to you, that the more we try to teach and guide others, the more we are recapitulating our own knowledge and crystallizing that knowledge within us. Okay? And I think through this kind of double process, both the outward teaching, instructing, guiding, and the taking in of the response to our teaching and our guidance, the knowledge and wisdom and insight that we may receive from those that we are guiding, right? It goes both ways. It's a two-way street. I think that's why we have all of this 2 energy here. Okay. Now, let's see. Now let's go back to the 7 of Wands. The recent past. This, I think, represents the last few readings that we've had for you. It was a struggle for you to really organize all of your forces and devote them to this particular path that you're on. Now, this path may have various side paths, various other routes, various kind of side quests, but it's generally one main theme, one path that you're on, right? There's kind of one objective to it. And I feel like this was difficult for you to attain. I feel like you've really worked very, very hard to get everything in line, everything perfectly organized. Not only your own forces, your own focus, but the elements in the outer world too. The other people involved, the resources that you need, the financing or whatever it was. I feel like it was a struggle for you to attain this, but you did. But you didn't give up. And in all of the readings that we had for you, it was always this fire energy that was struggling to organize, right? To come together in a unity to move forward with your life path, with your purpose. And I think you found the purpose, and that's, I think, another reason why we don't have the water energy. Because you have discovered that. You have figured out for yourself what it is that you want to commit yourself to. What are you supposed to be doing? What are you meant to be doing? Well, I think you've discovered that through a lot of hard work, a lot of trial and error, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So now we're kind of safeguarding that water energy, right? We're safeguarding that aspect of the water energy, that sense of meaning and purpose and joy and beauty, that holy of holies, right? That is this, this purpose that you have. And it was hard won. It definitely was hard won. And I like that we're going from this Seven of Wands, this struggle, right? Up against just, it seemed like at every turn there was another obstacle. You know, another challenge, another something that was against you. But you've triumphed. Look, we've got this Six of Wands right here in the center. So if you're still feeling this struggle, don't worry, right? Keep fighting the good fight because that victory is coming. And the Six of Wands is a perfect resonance and harmony, the perfect kind of victory after this challenge, after all of these struggles, right? We're going from the Seven to the Six. We're going from imbalance to balance and harmony, steadiness, focus. We're really right in the center of things. And everything is perfectly aligned. Okay? So I really feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I really feel like things are finally coming together for you, you know? In a way that you probably only had dreamed about, because this Seven of Wands representing the entire history of this thing, it's been kind of one problem after another. But not anymore. Now you've got this victory, but it's not a one-sided victory. It's not, you know, you're a very gracious winner, right? You're victorious in a way where you want to champion everyone. Everyone around you is feeling the success of what you do, right? You're not someone who's selfish and is just doing this for your own benefit in a kind of a greedy way. We have the Hierophant here representing your energy right now, after all. So it's almost the struggle and victory that you've been through. Maybe that's what you're trying to impart. Maybe you are like some kind of a motivational speaker or something. I think I've had that thought about you in the past, about Sagittarius. Some kind of a motivational energy about you. And this may just be in your personal life. It may not be a professional thing that you do. But I think that's where we're at. Okay. And I think that you, up above everything, the Two of Swords here. Okay. This, I think, was really trying to focus us on the ability to reconnect with that water energy, that self-reflection, that kind of the alternation between all of this active, outgoing energy and some more passive elements like the earth that we have in a couple places here, but like the water that we don't have. And the water is primarily that depth of emotion, that self-reflection that it seems like we're kind of avoiding for now because we don't want to see that reflection, right? And I think there's something important there for us to think about. And my first thought was that it's kind of an imposter syndrome, or we don't want to look at maybe there's something about what we're doing now that feels a little bit wrong, in the sense that it's almost too easy, or it's almost, who are you to be guiding other people, or to be offering information or insight or help to other people when you yourself are a flawed human being, right? And so I think that's kind of a dilemma, I think, that a lot of people have. That because we are imperfect creatures, how can we ever hope to help another imperfect creature? You know? Where do we get off trying to impart wisdom or guidance or knowledge to someone else? You know? I think that's part of the reflection. And I think that is kind of like this Two of Swords. I think that there is a benefit to having these kinds of reflections and personal insights. There's a benefit to that because that maybe will keep you humble. It'll keep you growing. It'll keep you always looking to improve yourself, better yourself, expand your knowledge, expand your experience. But at the same time, this could be threatening to kind of knock you out of your game. With the Two of Swords, it's kind of like, do I continue doing what I'm doing and work on growing and evolving, etc.? Or do I just need to cut ties and run? Do I need to, stop doing this? So I'm worried that some of this reflection, and that may be the reason, again, why there's no water here, that we don't want to really think of these things, because then we may really start to question our decisions, and we may think we see a fork in the road ahead of us. Two different paths, and now we have to choose. Do we? Do we have to choose? So this Two of Swords is not necessarily you focused on, okay, there's a choice I have to make, there's a question before me, I have to decide. No, this is, I think, we're getting to that point, right? We're getting to the idea that, oh shoot, do I need to make a decision, right? The decision's not there yet, but we're getting close to that moment where we're like, all right, I got to figure out if I'm doing the right thing or not, So it's almost better to avoid the water, avoid the earth, which we'll talk about in a second. Avoid those passive, yielding, magnetic, thoughtful kind of elements, right? Those reflective elements. And just keep pushing forward. Just keep doing what you're doing. The fire says you're going to keep working hard at this. You're going to keep doing your will. The air says that you are going to keep growing and keep analyzing and keep gaining more knowledge, earning your wisdom, right? Rather than use the Two of Swords as, okay, shit, now I got to kind of make a decision. Am I doing the right thing? A lot of vacillating now. We're second guessing ourselves. Now we're kind of stuck at this crossroads and we have to decide which way to go. Now we're thinking too much about it. So rather than use the Two of Swords in that manner, we could use the Two of Swords as saying, look, as much energy and effort and knowledge and wisdom and guidance that I'm expressing outwardly to my coworkers, friends, family, students, whatever, the same amount that I'm putting out, I want to be taking in. I want to be learning through teaching, through doing, through being this, offering this guidance to people. I need guidance too. So it's a very symbiotic relationship, even though you might be the shark that's doing all of the swimming. I don't know if that was a very good metaphor. You've got this fire energy pushing you forward. We would do well to pick up as much along the way as we can, But the Two of Discs here, we have the Two of Swords now, we've got a Two of Discs. You're somebody who really doesn't want to change course. But I think there's this lingering decision, or this lingering feeling, this kind of weird, thing in your gut, one maybe little butterfly fluttering around in there that says, am I going to have to change? Am I going to have to do something different? Is this going to all be just, am I going to be revealed as an imposter, right? As a fraud? Is this am I going to have to really worry about my stability in this situation? I mean, this is Two of Discs down beneath the surface, right? It's an unconscious concern, I think, an unconscious, really an unconscious wish for this to just be okay, for this not to have to change, for there to be no threats to this life, this path that you're on, right? And I'm holding this card very delicately, I've noticed. And I think it's just because in your mind, this situation is not quite stabilized yet, right? We've got a Two of Discs. It could still kind of go either way, right? it's not so solid that we can just be confident in it and we can do it. So we kind of have this Two of Swords up here. We got these twos. Things could change at any moment. There's this uncertainty. There's this, it's not fully crystallized yet. And I think because you've worked so hard, you've fought so hard to get where you are, that now it's like we really need this to coalesce, to really solidify, so that we can start to feel like, okay, maybe this is a permanent thing, right? Maybe this will last for a long time. Maybe I don't have to worry and prepare. Maybe I don't have to keep in the back of my mind that, okay, one day I'm going to have to figure something else out, you know? So a lot of the twos here, and I think those are meaningful. I think that's kind of what you've got stirring around in you. Now, in the immediate future, though, interestingly, we've got a Three of Swords. So we may look at the Three of Swords and say, oh, that's bad news. Maybe this is the realization that, yeah, in the future, you're going to get your heart broken, and this is not going to be the best thing in the world that you thought it was going to be. But I don't think that is accurate. And the reason why I say that is because the Three of Swords is an attainment of understanding. Okay? And because it's the way forward, it's the future, it's kind of how we progress out of this current moment. I think it's really tied into this Seven of Wands, this struggle, right? This fighting that you did to kind of earn your stripes in this career field, in this, whatever, the spiritual work, whatever it is you're doing. I think you remember what it took, right? And I think that if we were to entertain these twos and feel like, oh, this isn't working, I'm in the wrong place, I made a mistake, I've got to make a different decision, I've got to change something. If we were to entertain those thoughts and worries and concerns and those vacillations, we would be doing a disservice to all that hard work that we did to get here. We would be dishonoring ourselves in a way, right? Because any time in this Seven of Wands past, you could have given up. You could have just said, it's too much, I quit, I'm going to do something else. But you didn't. So the Three of Swords to me is saying that, look, if you were to give up now, you would be really disrespecting yourself. You would be dishonoring all of this hard work, all of this fighting that you did would be for nothing. That would be heartbreaking. That would be sorrowful. So the way forward is to remember everything it took for you to get here right now, today. Remember everything it took to get here. And I think that memory, that remembering, will push you forward over here to the path of the serpent, which is where we're going to go now. And as we make this transition, I'd also like to say that these tarot cards are never wrong. Okay, we never, anyone, any reader, you too, when you're doing your own tarot cards, you never pull an incorrect card. These cards are here for a reason. It's up to us as the interpreters to find out how this might apply to our specific circumstances. Now, since I'm reading for so many of you out there, it really is up to you to connect with the images and the energies and use your intuition to apply them to your specific situation. Okay? Now, we've got some fire energy here. This is the Water of Fire, the Queen of Wands. I said there was no fire in the reading. No water. I guess I misspoke because there's some water inside of this fire energy. But I think this is really touching on what I mentioned a moment ago, that you're taking that water energy, that meaning, that purpose, that joy and beauty and love that you found with this career, project, whatever this work is that you do. You are keeping that locked away in the Holy of Holies, right? It's a sacred thing for you. So it's not something that is just out on the surface that's being expressed. Because in some ways, that getting into that feeling, right? Getting into our feelings is going to elicit more of this earth and more of this kind of reflective water energy, and we'll be back with the twos over here, the two of discs and swords. So we're keeping all of this really juicy fire or water energy wrapped around this persona of fire. Wrapped around, not really a persona, it is more, it's just more of your aura right now. You're just kind of, you're giving off this heat, right, and this light. And that's the way that you continue to make progress, because if you were to get too much in that water, like I said, then we would start too much reflection, too much kind of getting into our feelings, getting emotional about things and starting to have doubts, right? Starting to question ourselves and wonder if we've made the wrong choice. So rather than do that, we are continuing with the fire energy, right? We're continuing to work hard and push forward and maintain our confidence, even if on some days we don't feel so confident. We're doing it. You know, you're pushing forward. And that is in large part because you have fought so hard to get where you are. And what you have found is that precious, I think the precious Ace of Cups, that holy grail, that precious jewel, that now is your purpose, it is your love, it is your joy, it is your God, goddess, deity made manifest, right? And now I may be exaggerating for dramatic effect, but it has that energy for you. And that's something that you really want to keep sacred. Now I wonder if this mystery card is going to be some really choice water energy. In your environment, we've got a Two of Wands. Now, I wonder if there is something else going on in your environment with another person, maybe an air sign person. Maybe this Prince of Swords up here on the path of the serpent. I wonder if there's someone in your environment that you are, how do I say this? Not intimidated by, but whom you look at as being a pretty strong leader and guide them, almost like some competition, right? Because there can only really be one top dog in this situation that you're in. I don't know if this is a career thing, if this is you've built something, you're the leader of something, you're the instructor, the guide. I don't know, something like that. I feel like there's somebody else who you are kind of looking at as competition. Now, they may or may not actually be competing for your job, let's say. But the way we're looking at it, it's like there are two very strong-willed people, two leaders here, and there can only be one. Okay, so this really could be also another component that's leading us to these other twos. It could be that this Two of Wands is a large source of this Two of Swords and discs. Okay. I thought maybe it was the water energy. Now it still, I think, is partly due to some of that water energy, but it could be that we are looking at this air sign person, and I think this is the air sign person here. And I think that they are a peer. They're the same age as you. They're very much like you, I think. Or at least in your mind, that's how you're perceiving them. You're perceiving them as maybe even like a stronger, better, faster version of yourself. Now, I don't know if that's a correct perception. And that could be some of that water energy creeping out that makes us think, well, I'm not as good as I thought I was, right? But I think we need to try to put a hold on some of those thoughts, you know? And I think that's what's going on in the environment. Now, the only card that we haven't talked about yet is the other major arcana here, the Universal World card. Is it in position of your fears, worries, and concerns? And I think this is pretty straightforward. I think this is this is you wondering if this is where you're meant to be. Is this really your place? This is kind of us doing the cosmic dance. We've figured out that we are a star in the company of stars out in the heavens, and we're doing this cosmic dance with the universe, right? And it feels great. We're having fun. But we're worried about it. Why is that? Again, maybe because there's a little bit of that imposter syndrome, a little bit of the, well, am I just, am I just playing at this, or is this real? So there's a worry here. Have we actually found what we're meant to do? Have we actually found our place in the universe doing this cosmic dance, or are we just fooling ourselves? And now I wonder if this mystery card is going to be the Fool card. I hope not. So we deal with this a lot in this water kind of mode that we sometimes get into. This Two of Discs and Swords, we sometimes start to think, am I really supposed to be here, or am I not? Or we start doubting ourselves and questioning ourselves, okay? And I don't want to leave that as the final kind of outcome, because I think that there are ways for you to overcome any kind of self-doubt in this thing. For one, just the sheer amount of fire energy and all of the good positive energy that we see. This is showing me that you are doing what you're supposed to do, but like everyone, we have these moments of doubt, right? Let's look at the mystery card. Mystery card is a Three of Cups, so that is some very beautiful water energy. Now, this, I think, is really, I think the tarot's just saying, hey, look, stop your worrying, celebrate, because you've conquered so much. You've overcome so much opposition to get where you're at. Either get the position, the job, build the business, get the relationship, the life, whatever, right? The spiritual attainments. To get where you are, you've overcome a lot. And you should be celebrating. You should be proud of yourself. You should be overjoyed. Allow yourself to feel that aspect of the water energy. And, when that celebratory mood is over, go back to the fire and keep working. Right? Keep doing your will and putting in your efforts. And just use enough of this water energy to feel good about things, right? But not so much that you start kind of getting into that self-doubt kind of mode, that too much of the self-reflection where we start to question our own confidence, that sort of thing. So the Three of Cups, that's an amazing confirmation card. This is the best that we could hope for. This is really terrific. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated with you. We're going to go ahead and do an extended. And if you would like to see that, just click on the link right here. And you can have access to all of the extended readings, okay? I'd like to thank you for joining me. Thank you for letting me read for you here on Dove and Serpent Tarot.